Okay, so your spiritual advice starts with this card here. We have here the Ace of Wands in the reverse position. So this is sort of like a situation that has a lot of potential. There's a lot of inspiration. There's a lot of passion and desire to get things off the ground. But in the reverse position, it's almost like the timing is not right. The strategizing needs to happen in a more deliberate way. And I feel like the people that are on board might be backing out, and hence it's really hard to get things off the ground. Okay. So as your spiritual advice, the Ace of Wands is kind of telling you to go back to the drawing board. Make sure that you have a really clear idea and a blueprint, so that you can get people on board. Making sure you have like, that the business proposal, the business model, or everything laid out, how like an estimate of how much something is going to cost, a projection as to how long it's going to take, how many people do we need to get on board, how much do we need how much financial resources can we sink into this project? How much do we need to borrow? So like having everything laid out in front of you so that you can talk to your investors, so that you can rile people up with true facts and true data and numbers, so that they trust what you have on the table. They trust what you have to offer. Okay. So don't let even though they're great ideas, don't let these ideas run for themselves. They don't sell themselves. You have to be the one to do the legwork in order to prop up these ideas behind the scenes and to get people on board with you so that they can, buy into your ideas. Okay. So that's going to serve as your spiritual advice for this week. At the center of the spread, we have here stoppages in communication, travel, plans, delays. Okay, so unfortunately, with the Eight of Wands in the reverse, this is usually things that we were counting on, things that we were hoping to be reciprocated, communication that we hope to flow smoothly, and travel arrangement and things like that. Everything is coming to kind of like a little bit of a standstill, and it's whenever things like this happen, and it's like multiple things, not just one thing, multiple things being stalled, it's kind of the universe telling you, you need to slow down. Some of these things have not been thought through. And that's why they're all being stalled right now, so that you can work them out. In the challenge position, we have here the Strength card. And the Strength card is telling you to be a little bit more patient. It's telling you to kind of like, there's some information that you might not be privy to. There are some people with hidden agendas or hidden motives, and you kind of have to pry the answers out of them. Okay. So it's on the one hand, teaching you to be a lot more assertive and maneuver some type of office politics situation where you have to be crafty, where you have to be less deliberate and frank. You guys are very, very frank when you talk, and especially when you're upset. You can say things that everyone knows to be true, but it might not be diplomatic, or might not be politically correct, or might not be appropriate. So they're telling you to be very, very patient, because all of these things are being stalled. In the foundation, Two of Wands, you're really anxious to get things started. You feel like life has been like this. This wand is bolted, is stuck in one place, it's propped up against its will, and you feel almost like, I don't want to be stuck anymore. I want to get my life moving. I want to get, things on track. I want to get my relationships on track, my career on track, and I don't really want to wait on the goodwill or the whims of other people anymore. In the past position, we have here the Justice card. Some of you might have broken off a relationship. Some of you might have gone through divorce, and you're trying to get yourself back on track. You're trying to get yourself back in order. And I also feel if there has been any type of financial settlements, for example, estate planning, clearing up of like inheritance issues, you're waiting for the financial payout as well. Crowning this reading, we have here somebody that might have already passed away. They left an inheritance. We have the Emperor in the reverse position. So I feel as well you're dealing with some type of an authority figure in your midst that might be a little bit difficult, uncooperative, and I feel almost like they're holding back on what projects that they can give you because they feel like you haven't really learned the ropes, and they feel like you need additional training, or you need to kind of slow down and kind of methodically plan things out and work things through. With the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, I feel like somebody wants you to speed up. Okay, like I know it's a mixed message in contrast to what I said earlier with the Emperor, but I feel like somebody wants you to speed up. Somebody wants you to do more. Not just the one thing that you're specialized in or the two things that you're specialized in. They want you to accept a lot more responsibilities, but they also understand that they don't want to slam you with all of these things all at once. They want you to, and you know, the best way, I feel like this is somebody that knows you quite well and knows the way your mind works, Scorpios. You're very detail oriented. So you learn one thing, you specialize in it. And then once you feel like you've got everything figured out, you can learn in a new, you can like incorporate, you know, new things in. So they want you to pick up the pace. They want you to quicken up the pace. They want you to be more versatile, more well-rounded, and not just be a specialist in two things, because they understand that it's not making you very marketable. And so at this point, I feel like you want to be more versatile. You want to make sure you know, branch out a little bit, grab more projects, not just the things that you have in mind, but do things that might be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Okay. So don't fear change and don't shy away from new opportunities, and just only stick to what you know. In your external environment, I have here the card of Aquarius. You could be dealing with an Aquarius who's dealing with some hard times, or you are dealing with somebody who's dealing with some health issues, okay? So the star is normally physical health, feeling a little bit uncomfortable in our own skin, feeling a little bit like we're not attractive, we're not, you know, desirable, we're not lovable. I'm going to pull out a card here to clarify, well, two cards. Who is this that they're dealing with in their external environment? I feel like it's somebody who's turning their back on you, but let me just see. Okay, so the Three of Pentacles, this is greatly work situations, okay? When we are in a collaborative type of an environment where we're working together, sharing best practices, sharing knowledge with one another in order to build something of value. And with the Star card in the reverse, I feel almost like you're feeling out of your element this week, Scorpio. You feel like you have some things to offer, but for whatever reason, the people are not listening to you. Or you might feel like you're in over your head, and the skills and the expertise required to do some type of a project, some type of a deal with a specific situation, it's outside your realm of expertise. And so you're deferring to other people's judgment, and it can be really frustrating when you don't really know what's going on and have to rely on another person. But I feel either way, there's a situation here that's kind of like it's hitting that sore spot of yours where you feel like, oh no, I'm lacking in this department. I have to find ways to not so much compensate, but I need to learn up on or research on whatever it is that's being discussed, so that you can, you know, bring your own insights, your own inputs on the table. So I feel like this is a work situation, this is a collaborative situation, and you feel that you're kind of in over your head, or you feel like you're not 100% sure that you can do the work well, or you're not 100% sure that you can finish the project, okay? So it's like, it's a big, steep learning curve here. And in the advice position, this is your energy, Knight of Cups in the reverse. You feel like you're in over your head, and you feel like you might not have anything meaningful to offer. In the outcome, we have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So once again, the timing is not yet right now. I feel like you want to take on this project. You want to take on the additional responsibilities as a learning experience for you. However, you don't want to shortchange the people. You don't want to be irresponsible and selfishly hog this project when they could find somebody who's better, like who's more qualified, who's better able to help them. And so this is kind of like, dealing with this some type of an internal conflict. On the one hand, financially, it could pay really well, but on the other hand, do I have all the skills at my disposal to do the job well? Okay, so let me just see. What is your advice here for Scorpios? Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. They're saying to look elsewhere. Okay, I have here the Two of Swords in the reverse. Your intuition is really sharp, Scorpios, and I feel like a lot of the times, you know, you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you can where you don't know all the ins and outs. You do things in a very methodical manner. So your intuition is telling you, you might not know the whole story. You might not know how to do everything that they are asking you to do. And as a result of it, with the Hangman in the reverse and the Page of Wands, I feel almost like you got to look elsewhere. You got to remove yourself from the situation because it can potentially be detrimental to your credibility if you're willingly rushing into something where you know I'm in over my head. And I feel like it can be a great disservice when the job is not done right, and it can negatively affect a lot of people. And so this is really the week for us to kind of let our pride down, okay? Try to do the right thing. Not so much hog the environment, or, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say here is I feel like we need to kind of choose what projects we can dabble in. If we feel like we know it in and out and we feel like we can handle it, by all means, take it upon yourself to do it. But if you feel like I need to go back to the drawing board, I need to do additional research, I need to, you know, see how they do it, and then next time I'll do it, then that's like the right thing to do. Okay.